Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to my 2018 studio tour. A lot of you guys have been asking for this, so let's just get into it, and I'm going to show you guys what's going on where. There's been a lot of questions about what's in the desk behind me and all that kind of stuff. It's been several years since I've done a studio tour, and things have been upgraded quite significantly since. First and foremost, this is the centerpiece of the studio here. This is the RME Fireface UFX Plus. Does up to 192 kilohertz sample rates and is just the nerve center of everything going on here. Next up is my killer combo, which is my Great River MP to Envy and my Empirical Labs Distressor. These things wind up on just about everything. Vocals, bass, usually. All my voiceover for all my episodes goes through this chain and works out pretty well. All my live casts, all that kind of stuff. Anything super critical, acoustic guitars, vocals, yeah. Okay, next up is, this is a recent addition here. This is the Stam Audio SA2A. This is Joshua Stam's amazing LA2A recreation. It only takes 2 rack spaces instead of 3. It's got a slightly slower attack. It pairs up real nice with the Distressor. You can run them in series, run the slower attack with the Stam and then, use the Distressor to get the peaks, that kind of thing. And yeah, what a great combination. It's really great using these two together on somebody like Siegfried, who you guys have heard on the show numerous times, just because he's so freaking dynamic. Next up, we've got 4 API 512Cs, and for years and years and years, I used these on guitars. That is until I went and hung out with Ulrich Wild for a day, and he showed me what's up when it comes to metal guitars and what kind of preamps you should really use. Oh, as you can see, I've got a malfunctioning op amp. These things tend to do it. This is my second op amp that's gone on these. I bought these back in 2007, so that one's lasted about 11 years before it finally went on the fritz. I've got a replacement op amp in a box. I just still need to install it. I'm probably going to do an episode on that, how to replace your op amp and your 512C preamp. I'm sure that'll be a huge hit on YouTube because everybody's going to want to know how to do that. Next up, we got a pair of, let me just brighten this up a touch. Next up, we got a pair of Focusrite Red 500 series mic preamps. These are awesome. They got the big donut-shaped transformers, and I can't pronounce it right. You guys are going to laugh at me. Tordil or something? I can't fucking pronounce that. Anyway, big honking transformers in here. They sound somewhere kind of in between a Neve and an API. Really cool stuff. They're stepped. Love these. Yeah, just killer stuff. I use those on room mics all the time. And next up, we've got an IGS S-type bus compressor. This is like their take on the SSL bus compressor. It's got a couple of extra little goodies on it. This thing's great on room mics and a whole bunch of other things, not just mixes. It's pretty functional on a number of different sources. This is pretty damn cool on rooms. You can slam them pretty hard. If I had a second Distressor, I'd probably use that, but you know what? This does the trick just fine. And next to that is the IGS Rubber Bands Mastering EQ, which is basically a stepped Pultec. We got like little switches here for the steps and whatnot. Pultecs are weird. You really gotta play with them to get some kind of a sound out of them. You kind of got to work around them rather than have them work with you. It's kind of a bizarre way of doing things, but a lot of guys swear by them. And I got to say, yeah, this and this on a mix, and then this on a mix is pretty neat. And I'll use that every now and then. And when I've got time to render something through instead of just like a quick print. Unfortunately, as a YouTuber, I've got to get shit out the door. So usually I'm bypassing this. But for clients and that kind of stuff, this is definitely where things are gonna be going through. Okay, next up, I've got this amazing Redco Audio Patch Bay. It's a 96 pointer. It's TT. As you can see, I've got everything kind of marked out what's going into what, where the inputs are at the bottom, the outputs are at the top. Watch my episode on patch bays if you guys want to know more about that. Definitely recommend the Redco stuff. It's all desubbed in the back, so it's very, very, very clean. And a big shout out to Hosa for hooking me up with the cables and all these neat little adapters, XLR to TT, that kind of stuff. This stuff's great. I love working with these. Thank you so much to my friend Dylan at Hosa. He really helped me out. All right, next up are the Audient mic preamps. These are really freaking cool. This is the ASP880, and this thing's just a whole lot of awesome. It's 8 channels of super pristine, clean mic preamps. Kind of in the API kind of vein, maybe a little bit cleaner, but damn, do they sound great. I'm using these on drums quite a bit. Overheads here, toms, that kind of thing. Snares going through Great River and the Distressor, but for everything else, I'm pretty much using the Audience stuff. And yeah, they're just absolutely fucking amazing. I'm thrilled with this thing. It's just a wonderful piece of gear. And I've been working with Audience for the last couple of years. And yeah, I'm just absolutely thrilled to be working with these guys. This stuff's really just top notch. If you're looking for like serious bang for the buck, great preamps for not a shit ton of money, yeah, the Audience stuff is really hard to beat. And on the exact opposite end of the spectrum, this is like, okay, on the slutty and rare side, we've got the Ward Beck dual M468 preamp, and I'm really overdue for a review on this. These are 2 channels out of the legendary Ward Beck broadcast consoles, and yeah, these are just awesome. Yeah, they got a cool channel on and offs. Okay, the channels here were originally vertical, and they've been rebadged for horizontal. Everything's been adjusted and put under racks, and Tony at Ward Beck just did an incredible job with this. Ward Beck has often been nicknamed the Canadian Neve, but the truth is, Neve is the British Ward Beck. You know, it's a mic pre and an EQ, but the amazing thing is the EQ goes all the way up past 25 kilohertz. And yeah, you can just like slam the hell out of a signal with that, and starts at like 1 kilohertz. That's, what are we, 1.6 kilohertz on the high freaks, all the way up there. So you can get some serious air going on your signals. You know, you can freak your dogs out if you want. Mid sweepable EQ, selectable bandwidth, local frequency boost and cut. It's switchable. It's got an output fader. Now, one thing I love about this, the fact that I love over the APIs, is it's got output faders. The APIs I find are often very difficult to control going into a DAW because there's no output faders. You can't control how hot the signal is going in. Basically, you can turn it down all the way and hope for the best. But preamps sound better when you're cranking them up. So the fact this has built-in output faders really does the trick. Yeah, these things have loads and loads and loads of character. They're basically built along the same lines as a Neve 1073, the only difference being that this has Hammond transformers instead of St. Ives. You know, there's a nice... really got to do a full episode on this at some point. You know, there's a nice high-frequency roll-off. You know, here's your gain, you know, mic, line switches, all that crap. Yeah, just a whole bunch of awesome. And below this, I've got a couple of M480Cs. I've got an old T1202 Ward Beck broadcast console. That's what this was from. It came with 12 mic preamps and EQs. It's a pretty rudimentary EQ. It's got a selectable mid-range. It's not an adjustable EQ. It's just kind of high and low, but it's enough to get the job done. I don't use the EQs too much on these guys, and it's still going to power this thing up and get it hooked up and whatnot. But loads of character on these. Pretty damn cool. Below that, got a pair of DBX 160 XTs. Got these after hanging out with Warren and Ulrich and Cameron for a week because these guys recommended them. Warren really likes the 160 on kicks, and I've been using the Redco patch bay to mult out my kick signal so I get one clean and then one going through on the DBX 160s. Yeah, pretty cool. They're cheap enough I was able to get 2, so it really didn't cost that much. If you're looking for a great compressor to find used on eBay, the 160 XT is the one you want to get. Not the X, not just the straight 160s, the 160 XTs. Unless you can find one of the 160 VUs, but those are a whole lot more money. These are cheap and absolutely killer, especially on kicks. They don't have adjustable attack and release times, so it kind of goes, you know, it's just kind of automatic. Set your threshold, set your ratio, output gain, and then maybe kick in the over easy. Cool thing is you can slave these for stereo pairs, and I really got to try that on rooms sometime. And this is thanks to Ulrich Wild. This is what I'm using on guitars still to this day. Just a real cheap Behringer board. Please see my video, the greatest guitar recording trick I ever learned, to understand what that's all about. If you haven't seen it and you record metal guitars, you really do need to watch that. All right, now a lot of you guys have been asking about these. These are my new monitors from KS Digital from Germany. These are the ADM22s, and they've got a woofer and a tweeter, and these are the cleanest things I've ever heard in my entire life. Holy fuck. These are very, very next level. They're not really very cheap. And I've got a full review coming up very soon on these. If you want to know what they sound like, hey, listen to my last couple of mixes. Listen to Rock Me Amadeus. Listen to some of my later drum mixes, that kind of stuff. And yeah, they've all been mixed on these. I was really worried about not having these in the soffits, but it really doesn't need. The bass response on these is just exquisite. And a bunch of you guys have been asking, hey, where are your Atoms? Where are your Atoms? Well, you know what? They're still there in the back. Let me crank up my ISO here. Yes, my Atoms are still there in the back. Originally, the plan was for the KS Digitals to go on the soffits and bring the Atoms up front, but the KS Digitals are just a little bit too big. Of course, we've got the awesome desk built by Brad Wright over at DIY Builds. Brad put this together a couple years ago. We already did a show on it. Brad has a wonderful show about woodworking called DIY Builds. He's Brandon's brother. Brandon's on the show quite a bit. Brad is an awesome guy who with awesome woodworking skills. So if you're into that sort of shit, yeah, go check out Brad's show. It's great. And way over here is a little camera mount I've got. That is from Triad Orbit, and I use the Triad Orbit stuff all over the place in here. It's all modular. I can just connect and disconnect things at will. It's kind of like Meccano for sound guys. It's absolutely killer. It's not as cheap as your normal mic stands, but it definitely saves a lot of work and a lot of grief. And I'm so happy I started working with Triad Orbit because it's really made my life a whole lot easier. Above me here, I've got yet another Triad Orbit unit, and this is a mic stand that hangs down from the ceiling that I do my narration with. When I do viewers' comments or anything, I'm sitting at the desk. That's what's being used. It's just being used out of reach. And yeah, when I'm done, I just flip it out of the way of the Triad Orbit, make sure it stays in place. I've had it there for a couple of years now. And again, fantastic way to work. I've got a backlight over here that I use occasionally, and when I'm doing my live casts and whatnot. This is by Dracast. I've got one here, and I've got one over here. Let me back that out a bit. Up there, I use that as a backlight and a fill light, that kind of thing as well. These guys I don't use too much, but this and this, when I'm shooting, yeah, those get used quite an awful lot. I got those for dirt cheap at B&H Photo Video on a Black Friday sale last year. That's my YouTube 100,000 subscriber trophy. Thank you so much. Everybody who hit the subscribe button, you guys fucking rule. I'm very, very proud of that. And coming from a guy who didn't win a lot of awards when he was a kid, this really means a lot. So thank you so much. All right, on top here, we've got a Synergy 50-watt head. It's got removable preamp modules. Right now, I've got a Plexi and a Friedman HBE in there. I've got a bunch of others. I've got a Dietzel and a JCM 800 and a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to be demoing that on the show very, very soon. It's a very neat amp, and as a guy who doesn't have a lot of Marshall stuff, oh yeah, is it ever cool. I'm really impressed with the Plexi, especially. Down below that, we've got the, of course, Rev Generator 120 Mark II. This replaced my Mark I, which I gave away in the Oldies But Baddies competition. Matty Vasian was the winner of that. I was very happy to give that away to him. And of course, the only thing better than one Rev is another, and this is the 100P. Basically a 3-channel version of the 120, with the purple channel as the main distortion channel instead of the red channel, because the purple channel is really, really great for the extreme metal stuff. This is probably the first amp I reach for 90% of the time these days. It's just fucking wicked. And a 5150 Mark I down there. This was Brandon Wright's amp. I bought it off him after he bought his Rev. This is my second 5150. The other one, this one's a factory, and my other one has a bias mod, which you'll see in a little bit. And up over here is a 2-Notes Torpedo Reload. I'm using it as a reamp box right now. I don't do too much load box stuff because I don't have any noise restrictions where I'm working. That's awfully nice. I understand that's a luxury a lot of people don't have. And so it doesn't usually get too much load box use. But as a reamper, damn, it's very clean. Of course, up over here, we've got the Wall of Shame. This is the place where bad amps go to die. We've got what's left of the Marshall Code, which I dropped off that rooftop last summer. The Line 6 Spider 5, which we office spaced in my driveway. And the Spider 4 that we blew up in the Vegas desert. This is the faceplate off that. That was a real fun shoot. Anyway, yes, hopefully we're going to get to add some more amps to this pile at some point. We'll see. Okay, over here we got a couple guitars just up on stands so I can grab them quickly and get some work done, whatever. We've got the 6-string Solar Baritone. I think I've got that tuned to CGCFAD. Killer guitar, super comfortable to play, stays in tune like a fucking rock, especially in the lower tunings. And next to that, we've got an Ibanez 7-string. Didn't pay a whole lot of money for it, but I dropped a Seymour Duncan into it a few years ago, and this guitar just sounds great. I used it on the original Rev Generator 120 demo that I did with Rafinsky a few years ago. Yeah, this guitar just sounds killer. And over here we've got a Rode NT1A. Let me pull the dust cover off that. And Brandon will use this when he's doing voiceover live casting with me for like Merciless Metal mix reviews and whatnot. It's got a really great built-in pop filter that's metal, works like a champ. Fucking right. Can't say enough good things about this mic. It's just awesome. And of course we've got it on one of those amazing Tama Ironworks mic stands that you guys saw me do a piece for a while back. Here's my Sony A7S. I shot the show on this for the first 2-3 years, but the battery life was kind of shit and there's no flip out screen. These days I'm using this with a Nikon 20mm f4 for a super wide shot, and I'll use that for the overhead drum shot in some of the demos and whatnot. And that again is fitted with a Manfrotto 323 quick release, and I've got a triad orbit system in place over the drums just so I can easily attach that and get to work. I've learned a lot of things over the last few years is that it's just streamline things, make things easier to work with. And although the Sony makes a great image, it's just not the most practical thing because it's only got this stupid flip out screen and it doesn't turn around. And when you're shooting YouTube and you got to get your cameras into corners and whatnot, this is just a huge pain in the ass factor because you've got to throw up external monitors and then you've got to wire them up and you've got to power them, and there's generally a lot of fucking around involved just to get them to work the way they should. That's why I've switched over to the GH5. It's because it's got a flip out screen. It's just sped things up a whole lot. I'm not going to take you through my pedal collection as of yet. I just figure that's going to take quite a while because I've just got so many of them and whatnot. I've got a pedal board you guys are going to see in the very next couple minutes, and maybe I'll put something together with that and maybe offer that up for grabs for one very lucky viewer. I think that'd be a really cool episode to do, but suffice to say, I've got a crap ton of pedals. Ooh, look, it's Colin Scott's Target Meds pedal from Eris Effects, who I've worked with quite a bit over the last couple years. The Rick and Morty Portal drive. It's basically the Savage drive, just rebadged and what for all the Rick and Morty freaks. I actually wound up giving my Savage drive to Rafinsky, and I got this in exchange, so pretty damn cool. I've also got something really cool coming out from Eris Effects as well. I have to do a pedal board episode at some point, and ow, I just stubbed my fucking toe. The Dark Glass guitar or bass guitar amp, oh my god, is that thing incredible. You guys have seen a review on that. BB-8 over there. Down here we got a Joyo Zombie and a block of Penny and Giles faders. I'm going to try making those into output faders for my APIs at some point. What else we got? Oh, we got a Harley Benton Mighty Fifth and a European power supply because you need one of those to run the Mighty Fifth. It's just like half this video is going to be me going, oh, I need to do a video on this, I need to do a video on that. Yeah, because it's just, there's only so much time in the day and I've got too much freaking gear. All right, we're in the drum room now. Just going to do a quick pan around. You guys can see what's going on. Over here I got a couple of massive bookcases I put in place just so I've got somewhere to put all this stuff. Over here I've got a funnel tunnel. This is kind of neat. It's kind of a microphone isolation system for recording guitars and kick drums, that kind of thing. Somebody sent me this last year. Again, need to do a review on it. Framus rock board, again, have to do a review on it. Maybe I'll load it up with a bunch of pedals and give it away to some lucky bastard. I think that'd be really cool. Ooh, over here, let's see if we can get under that. That is my Gallien-Kruger MLE. That is a really badass solid state amp that I still have to do a review on it. Bought that in 93, I think, or late 92, something like that. Still got it. It's just absolutely killer. Gallien-Kruger does bass amps these days. They don't do guitar amps anymore, which is a real shame because they made some really killer stuff back in the 80s and early 90s. Under that, we got the Art Pro VLA stereo tube compressor. You guys saw the video on that. Really, really cool. One of those T-Bone MB75 boxes. And what do we got there? We got a Joyo Bantamp there. Got these all over the place. This is the what is it? This is the Vivo. This is their take on the 5150. Guitar strings, you know, we've got some Ernie balls and clear tones and bass strings and guitar strings, all that. Spare drum heads, you know, stuff kicking around. A lot of different snare heads and whatnot from those snare shootouts. Gotta thank Aquarian drum heads for helping out. Those guys have been magnificent. Guitar strings, SIT stuff, Ernie balls, whatnot. Got a Joyo Atomic amp. That's like their Vox, I think, the AC-130 kind of thing. Got a Nux pedal here. Gonna check this out at some point. It's supposed to load IRs. I don't even know what the fuck this box. Oh, okay. These are vacuum tubes for the Joel Dual clones. Very cool. And my very first high-end preamp. This is a Vintech Dual 72. This is a pair of Neve 1272s. It doesn't get too much use these days because I've only got so much space on my desk. Not sure what I'm going to do that. I might make that a Patreon reward at some point. You guys are going to have to check out my Patreon page at one time or another to see what I'm offering up. It's my camera slider in there from 9 Point Solutions. Very cool. What is this? A Focusrite 18920. Yeah. Demoed that a while ago. Again, probably need to give that one away. I already gave away one. Then again, I'm not sure what I'm doing with that. I might hang on to that, or I might give that to somebody who could really use it here in Windsor. Under that, I've got a Rode tube mic of some sort that I need to demo, that I'm really behind on. Again, you guys, this is going to be the common theme of the show. I really need to demo this. I really need to demo this. Lewitt MT550 DM. I've seen Ola demoed his. I really need to get around to demoing this. I love the Lewitt mics. They're just killer. This is a Spire. Yeah, this is a Spire, like a multi-track recorder. It's got a couple of Grace mic preamps built in. Yeah, it's pretty badass. Unfortunately, I don't have an Apple system, so I can't really use it. I'm just going to have to give it away to one of you guys. I've actually got 2 of these to give away. So you got to watch my show, guys, and subscribe and all that kind of stuff, because I've got all this cool stuff I need to get rid of that you guys should really sign up for. Over here we got the Trovolo S Bluetooth speaker. Again, this is I'm going to be giving away on one of my Saturday episodes. Not the most powerful thing in the world, but it'd be great for a dorm room or something like that. Audient ID4. You guys are going to be seeing an episode on this real soon. You guys remember I was talking about Audient earlier. Love working with these guys. Their stuff's absolutely top notch. Here I got the boxes for my Synergy preamps. As you can see, we've got what do we got? We got the VH4 by Dietzel. We've got the HBE from Friedman, the Soldano Slow, and we got the 800 and the Plexi as well. And pretty damn cool. It's a pretty interesting system. Been playing with it on a couple of projects. Not too bad at all. Down here, I've got a White Lightning strobe that's taken out of commission because I got a little crackly on the last shoot. I had one of those short out on me a few years ago and blow up my ear was not a pleasant experience. I'm lucky I walked away with my hearing intact. This one's starting to make the same kind of noise as the other one was making. So I think I'm going to send that back to the shop and get it serviced. Palsy Buff, they're located in Nashville. They're just down the road from Blackbird Studio, actually. And they've been very, very good with repairs over the years. So I'm really happy to be working with them on a bunch of stuff. When I'm doing big shoots with strobes, yeah, I use the White Lightning stuff and it's great. I got a couple of the newer modules and they're just freaking killer. Okay, this is the Earthworks TC20 omnidirectional mic, and man, is that ever awesome. Just got these a couple weeks ago, started using them on room mics for the drums, and holy crap, these things are just next level. I've had some beautiful room mics, but nothing really comes close to the Earthworks. Holy shit. Yeah. Whole bunch of Hosa cables and adapters and stuff that I'm using. A whole bunch of Hosa snakes. Asked for a few. They sent me way too many, but thank you very much. Hosa has been absolutely incredible with this, and no, you guys can't have them because I know I'm going to wind up using these at some point when I hook up my next patch bay. Oh, look at this. Audient ASB 800, and I'm going to be giving that away. With Audient, we're going to be running a raffle together. We're going to be running that with contest probably maybe with the ID44 that's sitting up here. You guys saw me unbox these a couple weeks ago, and yeah, the Audient stuff is just killer. Torpedo Live. Great. Not sure what I'm doing with this thing yet. Ever since I got the Reload, I don't know what I'm doing with the Torpedo Live. I might give it away, I might not. The Aphex channel, again, this might be a Patreon reward at some point. I demoed this a couple years ago. It's a killer channel. It's great for voiceover. It's got a built-in compressor and gate and big bottom and all kinds of wonderful stuff. And it's great. And unfortunately, you know, I've got like dedicated units, so I don't really need an all-in-one channel, and this is kind of surplus. So I'm thinking about doing a Patreon reward tier called like Slutty Gear twice a year. I'll let you guys know what that's all about. So it would be a cool way to get for you guys to get some cool stuff. Anyway, and support the show. I've got that Hughes and Kettner amp. What is that? There's Tube Meister Deluxe 20 in there. I'm not pulling it out. It's just too much work at this point, and I'm exhausted for the night. Yeah, the Tube Meister Deluxe 20, I did a demo on that a little while ago. Not sure what I'm doing with that yet. This is an Earthworks SR20. This attaches to the mic, and it's a handheld vocal mic, handheld vocal condenser. Very neat stuff. Gonna be done with that real soon. Keep your eyes open for that. Yeah, so far I've just been completely blown away by the Earthworks stuff. It's just without compare. Their stuff's just unreal. More hose cables, mic cables, shorter mic cables and whatnot. Hose has been used throughout the entire drum room here, and it's just been magnificent. What do we got here? Oh, control pedals for the dual clones. Great. Oh, there's my drum dial. Use that all the time. That's great. And a couple of Rode NTR mics. Let me pull these out. Hold on. Yeah, here's the Rode NTR. I've got a pair of these. I was using these on room mics right up until I got the Earthworks. The NTRs are spectacular on a bunch of different sources. Drum rooms, acoustic guitars. Haven't tried them on a vocal yet. Should really try it. I don't think a death metal screamer is going to do well. But this whole bottom piece is like a transformer. This is a very heavy microphone. And I have to do a full demo on these at some point. Great sounding mics. And yeah, definitely will not be giving these away anytime soon. They're just awesome. Definitely a little more affordable than the Royer stuff, and definitely on par with the Royer ribbons. I got my 14-inch tom up there. Sometimes it gets used. Got a T-Bone T-Mix, so I'm going to be demoing that. We're going to see how well that works for the Ulrich Wild guitar miking trick. Couple of LED mics, some Spectre hats. A very, very, very cheap mixer. We're going to see how the Ulrich Wild trick works with that. Another one of those Spires. A couple of empty boxes. More drum heads. A tambourine that never gets used. And a couple of these Ryobi 1 speakers, which are really neat. They use the... what are they using? They're using the ska wireless technology. That's a little more advanced than Bluetooth, and they're really working on a super low latency version for guitars coming very, very soon. It's exciting stuff. I got a couple sets of these and some batteries and stuff that I really want to give away to you guys. Oh yeah, that's the power supply to this mixer. This is a Roswell Colaris. This is brand new. This is the big colored, lots of flavor microphone. And we used this to great effect on the completely realistic automatic pitch video. Brandon was using that for the voiceover, and yeah, he just got that huge Troy McClure thing going on. This is the T-Bone drum mic set. Very affordable stuff. You can get these from Thomann. Just did a demo on these not too long ago. Going to be giving these away. And stuff I'm not going to be giving away. These are the Lewitt drum mics. These are oh so awesome. Love these. I actually got a couple of these extra. These are the DTP 340 TTs. These are awesome. I put these up against the 421s, no problem, except these only go for 99 bucks. Absolutely killer. They're great on guitars as well, paired up with a 57 using my Ulrich Wild blending method. Definitely recommend these. So I've got 4 of these, I think. And yeah, they're just awesome. Yeah, I've got everything in this pack, but the snare mic, I got a couple spare mics I'm using as overheads. What are these? These are the LCT 240 Pros. Those are great. Those are a neat alternative to the pencil condensers. Either one is great. I find these are very much on par with the Roswell Mini K47s. They're kind of cut from the same cloth. There's that 640 Rex, which is the dual element kick drum mic, which has a dynamic element and a condenser element, which is just fucking wicked, and the amazing cable that goes with it. Anyway, so that's my 3 sets of drum mics. I got the T-Bones here, the Lewitts here, and then the Earthworks here, which are actually on the kit right now, so I'm not going to pull that out. Over here, we got a pair of GOC Guitars Valkyries. Here's the brown wood grain and the blue wood grain, which I just gave away, maybe. The guy who won it hasn't emailed me back yet. He better check his spam folder if he wants to get it. Down here, I've got a prototype amp from an Indian company called Caller. This one's not quite ready for prime time yet. I think it needed a little bit of work, and I gave them some feedback. Hopefully, they're going to come up with something cool. Over here, this is Joyo Beale Street. It's actually a Christian Vase amp. It needs a retube, so it's just kind of sitting out of the way. My old backpack. DW Maple Classic snare. Various cables and whatnot. A lot of Hosa products here. Thank you, Hosa. They really hooked me up. Yeah, lots and lots of cables, lots of spare stuff. Guitar cables, mic cables, line cables, XLRs, some Kalium strings that I still haven't gone through. Okay, so cymbals are by Sabian. I got a Chad Smith China there. We got the Concert Ride, a couple of AX crashes, and some gorgeous hats. These things sound great. Using DW Collector's Maples. I've had these since about 2001. Now, for me, what really steals the show are these Earthworks mics from the DK7 kit. They sit, this proper, yeah, on a little gooseneck. And they're super easy to place, and they just sound absolutely fucking amazing. They are hands down the best set of drum mics I've ever used in 20 years in the studio. They're just absolutely incredible. They're super low profile, and you can see the last one over there. Pretty damn incredible. I got one on the snare here as well. The only gripe I have with them is the on-drum clamping system. They tend to get loose after a few takes, so you're constantly, reefing on them to get them to stay. And especially on the snare, the one just kind of detaches. So I just put it on its own stand and seems to work pretty well. I love the fact that the on-drum mics can clamp directly to the drum and just free up floor space. The problem is when they don't hold correctly, you got to throw stands up, and that takes up more floor space. It's a big pain in the ass. So I hope they get those sorted. The mics themselves are absolutely flawless. Here's the SR20 overhead. Like, damn, are these great? I'm just in love with these. And if we go way over here, I think we can see the other one. Yeah, there it is. Very cool indeed. Super happy with these. Just can't say enough good things about them. If you have the means, I highly recommend picking up a set, because holy shit, are they incredible. So yeah, back over there we have the Steve Smith Castile. Going over here, the Ludwig Superphonic. Yeah, you can't say enough good things about it. It's like, you like rock drums? Yeah, get a Superphonic. You're just not going to go wrong with that. And it sounds like a helicopter's going by. Sounds like a Coast Guard rescue chopper. Lots of Iron Cobra stuff in here. Iron Cobra hat stand. Just awesome. Gets out of the way of the second pedal. Iron Cobra Speed Cobras. These are just awesome longboards. And yeah, killer stuff. Can't say enough good things about them. Love Thomas stuff. All right, just going to go through the guitar collection really quick. We got a Made in Mexico Strat. A fretless Fender jazz bass, 5-string Ibanez bass, Legator 7-string, that was the one I upgraded. I put some Fishman Fluence into it, and a new Graphtec nut and bridge, and yeah, that's freaking awesome. Chapman Ghost Fret, killer stuff, love that guitar. Handmade Charbonneau 7-string, this is my quote-unquote signature guitar. Again, awesome stuff. What do we got down here? We got a Fender jazz bass I picked up for $200, made in Mexico. Awesome. Best $200 I ever spent. Schecter Hellraiser, you've seen this on the show numerous times. That's the guitar that the Eagles Landed was recorded with. Dingwall bass, you've been seeing this on the show an awful lot as of late. What else do we got here? My old Rhodes Jackson V down there in the dark, and that gets used from time to time. And we've got an Evertune 7-string Ken Susi model, which is pretty damn cool as well, thanks to Evertune. And yeah, Ken, you got great taste in guitars, buddy. And above the drum set, of course, we've got the Triad Orbit camera mount up there with a Manfrotto 323 quick release, so I can throw my A7S up there, and a power supply for it as well, because the A7S battery sucks very, very hard, like harder than Jenna Jameson sucks. I almost forgot, there's the Solomon SD mic for low frequencies, and I've got an Earthworks and an Audix D6 in the kick drum, which I'm not going to move right now because I'm just getting tired. Okay, amp porn. So at the top here, we've got a Marshall Valve State. That's got a review coming up. Sun Beta Lead, which I still have to review. PV Windsor, which was some of the cheapest $200 I ever spent for a tube amp, and that was great. Angle Pro Cab, a nameless California brand cab. Coffee Custom Cab from the Czech Republic. This thing is just unfucking real. And a Rev Cab, which is shockingly incredible sounding. It's loaded up with the WGS speakers, and it's just phenomenal. What do we got here? We got Oh, no, that's a T-Bone MB75. That was during that mic shootout I was doing on guitars. And, of course, the venerable SM57 as well. I just got these things kind of stashed out of the way. And you guys can see this orange packing blanket I've gotten. Again, that's taking some tips from Ulrich Wild, and was building a tent around this cabinet and the mics to keep the room reflections out. Pull that down. And we've got that up around a Harley Benton 2x12, which still gets used from time to time. This is a great cabinet. A lot of guys are saying they can't order a 4x12 from Thomann because it overcomes the weight limit. The 2x12 does not. This is loaded with a pair of Celestion Vintage 30s and is probably the best bang for the buck cabinet on earth. It is just freaking great. It sounds great. Highly recommend getting one if you don't want to spend a lot of money. And yes, it's loud as fuck. Next up, the Joel Duoclones. That's the programmable multi-path amp. It basically rewrites its circuit to like go from a 5150 to a vintage 30 to a JCM 800, that sort of thing. Pretty damn cool. It's only 15 watts, so a lot of guys got their noses turned up, but honestly, 15 watts is loud enough to melt concrete. Underneath that is a 40-watt amp. It's probably the loudest amp I own. This is a 1960s Trainer YB1A. I had a master volume put in it. You can check out my video called Doom Machine about it, and that guitar is just fucking insane for stoner rock guitars and whatnot. Nameless California amp. I bought this in the year 2000 as a wedding present to myself. Wound up on a number of records, including the first couple Woods V-Prey records and whatnot. And the company shall remain nameless because I'm not advertising for them. Under that is my 5150, which is wound up on a crap ton of records as well. This is the bias modded one. It's a very cool amp. It's wound up on a lot of stuff, and it was my number one amp right up until I got a Rev, and well, the Rev kind of blew it away. And under that is the dark glass bass cabinet, and holy shit, is this thing's ever sound good. Wow. I'm completely thrilled with that. All right, and over here we got the mic locker. Whole bunch of stuff here. I should pull a few of these out and just show you guys what's what. Give me a sec. Okay, so I pulled most of the boxes and pouches out of the mic cabinet here. We'll take you guys through this. Just remember, this is a 20-year mic collection, so a lot of stuff has built up over time. Everything's kind of got its place. Yes, I use a lot of these all the time. Okay then, so just going through it piece by piece. Here's the Sennheiser MD421. I have 3 of these. I'm only pulling one out for obvious reasons. Had these for about 10 years. Updated these with a Wilkinson clip so they will fit into a standard 57 mic clip instead of the stupid detachment thing that they've got that just makes you drop your mics everywhere. These are beautiful mics with the dumbest clips ever invented, and thanks to 3D printing, we now have a solution. How awesome is that? Lewitt LCT 440 Pure, pretty damn cool mic, fairly affordable. Love the little built-in pop filter. Doesn't work that great, but the shock mount is killer, and this is just a fantastic vocal mic. Love the Lewitt stuff. Can't say enough good things about them. Rode NTK tube mic. This has still got a vintage Jan Phillips tube in it. How freaking cool is this? Oop, yeah. There we go. Phillips tube. How about that? That's cool. Don't make those anymore. Definitely a cool mic. I wish I got to use this more often than not, but still super impressed with this thing. Love this mic. Power supply and cable are elsewhere. I have another Rode tube mic that I still have to put through its paces. Again, the running theme on this is, wow, do I ever need to catch up on a lot of this shit. It's a cardioid only, but honestly, 99% of the time you got your mic in cardioid, so who gives a shit? Got an original Rode NT1 from 98, I think. I bought this. I bought a pair of these. These were my first real mics, my first condensers I ever got. Got these at Guitar Center way back in the day in Roseville, Michigan, at the original store, which I think they moved. Anyway, yeah, killer mics. I had a pair of these. One still works. The other one we blew up in Dave Gould's kick drum on the first Woods of V-Prey record. Trying an experiment. Yeah, that didn't work. Which is right here, I believe. Yep, there it is. And Rode has offered to redo the capsule on it, so I think I might get that repaired at some point. It definitely pays to go through your mic locker. I've been looking for my digital drum dial forever. Finally found it, so that's cool. What a great tool. I'm going to put that up on the other shelf where it's going to get more use. I've been looking forever for that thing. And this is my number one mic. Well, was my number one mic. This is my vintage U87 number 40549. It's from 1982. And I've had this mic for about 10 years. This was my present to myself for quitting smoking for 6 months. And I actually quit smoking 10 years ago this month. So it would be 9 years and 6 months ago I got this mic. Still in fantastic shape. David Bach looked over this mic before it was shipped out to me. I got this from Eric Greedy in Hollywood. And yeah, damn cool mic. I guess the last band to have it before I got it was Fishbone. This was from an audio rental house in LA called Audio Verite. I don't even know if it's still there or not, but if it is, hey, thanks, Eric. This mic has went to a good home, and it's got a lot of use and wound up on an awful lot of records. Just a fantastic mic. And was one of my favorites until, I discovered Lewitt. Here's something I've learned over the last year, or just recently, is start marking off your mic pouches so you know what the hell is what. I don't know how many hours I have wasted screwing around trying to find one mic or another in a pouch or whatnot. Now that we have this labeled, I know what's what. Got the Roswell Mini K47. Oh, these are so good. These are great on drum overheads, guitar cabs. Honestly, I like them a little better than the Delphos on the guitar cabs. They've got a certain lift to them that's just wicked. These are probably my favorite guitar mics that aren't dynamics. This is, I think, would be a medium dynamic condenser. So cool. I got a pair of those. Again, Mini K47. Mark your pouches, kids. Believe me, it'll save you some grief. Here's the unsung hero of dynamic mics. This is a Lewitt 440DM. This is the snare mic for the Lewitt drum mic package. It's also really wicked on guitar cabs, and I have to show you guys what that's all about at some point. And here I got a Beta 57 and an ATM 25. Nolly was going on about a Beta 57 for a snare mic because it's got a tighter pickup pattern, and I do agree. It's pretty cool. Whereas I'm really digging the Earthworks on snares. So that's just me, though. And the ATM 25, this is the Terry Date kick mic. This is the Pantera kick mic. If you come across an ATM 25, grab it. Pretty damn cool. Not my first choice for kicks, honestly. I like the Audix D6, the Lewitt Rex mic with the dual capsules, and of course the Earthworks for the snap. So they've got a lot of choices there. A couple of 57s. It's always good to have a studio on hand with multiple 57s. I think I got 4 or 5 or 6 or 7. I don't know. I lost count. Basically, you go to Sweetwater Gear Fest, I'll have like two 57s for $99. You can't say no. Another 440 DM. I got to try that mic setup. The two 440 DMs in Fredman Technique setup. I'm sure that'll be interesting. MTP 440 DM. Oh, another 440 DM. Duh. I'm just dumb today. So I got 3 of those. Great. I have to try that. Older 57 times 2. Now this might be. Yep. Here's one of my original 57s. I got 2001-ish, 2002, something like that. When the studio started getting serious. It's a little dented. It's definitely seen better days. And I've got an old Unidyne 57 I found at a pawn shop for $50. It's a little rusted, so it looks like it might have been through a flood or something. So not my first choice on guitars. It's a little spitty, but it might be kind of cool for stoner rock, that kind of thing. Heil PR30. I know Fluff swears by them. Yeah, I dig the Heil mics. They're kind of neat. They definitely have their own thing going on. You want a more unique guitar sound? This is definitely a choice. Something to grab. Got an Audio Technica. What the fuck is this thing called? I can't remember. AT8471. I got this based on a recommendation from Joey Sturgis. AE3000. Okay. It's a cool little mic. Joey was recommending this for metal guitars, actually. He said this is his first choice for miking a cab. And because I had asked him, how come you always default to the condensers on your software and instead of the dynamics? And he says he just thinks condensers sound bigger. Cool mic. Honestly, I like the Roswell Mini K47 for the application just a little bit better. But definitely neat. Can definitely use that in other places as well. It's not just a guitar mic. Audix i5, the original alternative to the 57. I got a pair of these. These are just great. Love these mics. Great on snares, great on guitars, just great everywhere. Cannot go wrong with the Audix i5s. No, this is just, this is my broken Audix D6 that I really need to get recapsuled. Yeah, as you can see, it's marked toast. That's what happens when you plug and unplug your mics with phantom power on that shouldn't have phantom power on them. So yeah, be careful, kids. And this came out of a recommendation from Lasse Lammert. This is the Bear Dynamic M201. He loves this on guitar. It's a hypercardioid, so it's got a very, very tight pickup pattern. I didn't mind it on guitar. It's not my first choice, but it can be cool for snare or just some kind of spot mic you need, you know, super isolation, that kind of thing. This might work really well. It looks cool as fuck. A bunch of 3D printed mic clips from Wilkinson. Yeah, they make specialty things for, like, you know, doing XYs. And 57 and a condenser, that kind of stuff. Also an X clip. These are made locally by my friend Marty Bach, designed to hold a 57 and condenser for snare. That's a neat technique, but honestly, I'm just really digging the Earthworks mics on snare. They just, it beats that combination in my opinion. A giant unnecessary box for a tiny little ribbon mic. This is one of these Art ribbons. Art is like a Canadian brand these days that Yorkville owns, I think. I could be wrong there. Nice little shock mount. Neat ribbon mic. Definitely cool. Cool on guitars, like metal guitars, that kind of thing. Room mics. Anywhere you put a ribbon, or, you know, in front of a harsh source, you know, just to kind of smooth things out. Definitely neat, but I wish the box wasn't so fucking huge. It just takes up a lot of space. A couple of Studio Projects mics, I think. Right, these are Studio Projects C1s or something like that, stereo pair. One still works. I think I blew one of the other capsules up just from overall abuse and whatnot. Definitely not as nice as my Octavas, which I've got somewhere as well. And you guys have heard the Octava a million times because I use that as my main voiceover mic on my shows. And last but not least, I've got the Dynamount there. That's a robotic mic stand. It works by remote control. I was going to build something similar to this with a buddy of mine, so some kind of idea for a remote-controlled mic stand so I could really dial in the guitar tones. And turns out these guys beat us to the punch. They had a Kickstarter going. I'm like, oh, hell yes, that's way better than what I thought I was going to do. And got one. And yeah, they're fantastic. If you're into mic and guitar cabs, get one of these. It's clearly and easily one of the coolest inventions ever. It's definitely worth the price because it will help you dial in your tone and save you a lot of grief. And back behind there, I'm not sure you can quite see that, got another one of those wonderful Earthworks Omnis for the room mics. Again, just fantastic stuff. Last but not least, the Roswell Delphos. It's multi-pattern cardioid and Omni. It's got a 10 dB roll-off. Really cool shock mount. Honestly, I'd put this up against the best of what I have. I'd put this up against my vintage U87 any day of the week. This mic is absolutely killer. And if you're looking for something awesome, definitely take a look at the Roswell stuff because it's hard to beat in terms of price to performance ratio. All right, that's it for the studio tour. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you got a comment, question, or suggestion, leave it below. And please hit the subscribe button. Till next time, take it easy.